states are stepping up to address America's alarming shortage of teachers, but they're not finding any receptive audience, especially with the Biden White House. Arizona no longer requiring teachers to have a bachelor's degree, which might be fine. And Florida is offering temporary teaching credentials to veterans without certifications. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona is not on board with those particular ideas.
I do not support lowering any standards for qualifications with teachers. I think we need to be creative in how we get the teachers in. For example, student teaching is 4 months of teaching without pay. I think we should use the American Rescue Plan dollars to get student teachers and give them a salary.
Besides throwing money at the issue, Cardona blames the staffing crisis on teachers not being respected.
Let's think back the last couple of years. You know, our educators have bent over backwards. We went from totally in-person learning to remote learning overnight. Yet the pandemic really pushed many of these educators out of the profession because in many cases, you know, educators were not being respected when schools had to close.
This problem is so widespread. It's all across the country. Some of the school districts, Jesse, are hundreds of teachers short, and they're about to start next week. And there's just no solutions. It's like, yet again, it's like the baby formula crisis. They knew it was coming. They didn't do anything about it. And then they're probably going to want to claim some sort of benefit, or like that there's going to be an airlift of teachers somewhere.
Well, maybe they're short teachers because they fired the ones that wouldn't take the vaccine. So just hire the ones back. I don't even believe that they're short teachers. They've been saying this for the last 10 years. I mean, maybe they feel like they're short teachers because there's 10 migrant students in each class. Or didn't like millions of students just disappear from the rolls, or just like leave the public school system? So maybe that could balance itself out. I'm just not trusting this press release they put out because it came out on the same day the White House called for teacher pay raises.
I know, but
so why would they call for pay raises when test scores are going down? That doesn't make any sense to me. And like, you can't criticize a teacher, so that you can't criticize the teacher that calls your son racist. You can't criticize the teacher that says your son isn't really a boy. Like, the teachers that spend their whole lives evaluating other people can't be evaluated? No, Dana. That's not happening.
Okay, there is a teacher shortage. I'll get Johnny the stats.
Yeah, you do that.
I'll get him the stats. Okay, but Joey, what do you think?
There's a teacher shortage just like there's a pilot shortage, just like there's other industry shortages, because a lot of people said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and retire when COVID happened, and there was no plan in place for something like that and how to backfill it. On top of that, the reason why DeSantis wants to bring in veterans and first responders to teach is because that's the only group of people that are competent he can pull from that aren't already indoctrinated from whatever liberal institution they went to and aren't more focused on wokeness than education. And on top of this, you're saying something that's absolutely true. This is not pointing a finger at kids, but I come from a town. I have educators in my family. If you have 32 kids in your classroom or 22 kids in your classroom and 20, 30, 40% of them are not English speakers, where do they put their efforts? That's a problem. That means you need more ESOL programs. If those kids legitimately are here, that school needs to invest in it. Where are they going to invest in it from? This is a problem, and to say we can't criticize it is to say that we shouldn't take our kids to school to begin with. We have a say in how our kids get educated. We pay for it. We have a say in it, and only unions would say otherwise.
Harold, what do you think?
So I think a lot of points made here. With regard to the teacher shortage, I think we have one. No one goes into teaching for the fame and the glory and the money behind teaching. I think that you look around in other countries around the world, teachers are thought of very differently than we think of our teachers here. Now, we can say that unions and other things have clouded this, but we need to figure out how we elevate this, too. I sympathize with Governor DeSantis on this. I think that, and I understand where the secretary is coming from, but if you don't have teachers and you have people who have degrees in the areas that you want them to teach in, then put them through a 2 to 4 week class and let them understand what it's like to be in front of classrooms. Now, there's no question we have a more current problem where we have a lot of classrooms, more and more American classrooms, where you have 2 and 3 languages being spoken. So you're asking teachers not only to teach and to be proficient in English, but to be proficient perhaps in other languages as well. And we have to understand that is the case. Now, we did a story last week. I think, Jesse, you might have been gone. We were talking about schools, and we were talking about absenteeism in some school districts. And it was a group of teachers in a school district realized that on Mondays they had greater absenteeism in some of these schools, and they realized because the parents couldn't wash the clothes of their kids over the weekend. So what did the school do? They bought washing machines and dryers. Now, I think we have to think about these things individually. If hiring teachers who are who may not have gone through everything you want them to go through, like Governor DeSantis is doing, and you're putting quality people in the classroom, do it. It may work in Florida, it may not work in Tennessee, it may work in Colorado, it may not work in New Jersey. But we have to realize that we have a challenge, we have a shortage, and we have to be creative about trying to fill the problem.
Why can't they wash the clothes on Sunday night?
Because some of these people don't have the kind of resources that you and I have, Jesse.
They can't go to the laundromat on Sunday?
Jesse, I'm just saying, the school decided to help fix the problem.
I'm not sure I believe that.
The school helped fix this problem.
Jesse's
Now the
not quite
absenteeism
believing
is
a lot
less.
of it, but Rachel, a lot of this is maybe
Give me my
perhaps
pen.
also being driven by a burgeoning school choice movement and acceptance of that.
Yeah, that could be, for sure. I would say Miguel Cardona, it's interesting. He's like, you're lowering standards. I went to college. One of my professors, he had a PhD from Oxford, and he told me that he wanted to teach at the public school and volunteer his time in his retirement, and the school wouldn't hire him because he didn't have the license. Let me tell you this. Nothing scares the public school, the public education cartel more than governors disrupting this pipeline, right? Because you have to go through the teachers' colleges, and the liberals know this. The Marxists own these teachers' colleges. They run them. Everyone has to go through them, and so they don't want any disruption. What DeSantis is doing is scaring the hell out of them. My father was in the military for 34 years. He got out. He became a public school teacher, but he had to go back to school. He spent several years getting his master's. It would have been amazing for him with all the experience he had, 34 years in the military. He's so smart. He's so patient. He ended up being a coach. This is a really great thing that Governor DeSantis is doing. And I think either saying your bachelor's degree is sufficient, your PhD is certainly sufficient, and getting rid of allowing this monopoly of the teachers' colleges, which are run and partnered with the teachers' unions. This is a real disruption. In addition to what you just said, Dana, which is this new opening up of attaching the money to the child, school choice, homeschooling, all the things that have been opened up since the pandemic, I think, woke a lot of people up.
Absolutely.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.